Hello and welcome to News Hour on Unity TV. Today is Thursday, 13th of July 2023 and it's equivalent to 25th of Zulhijjah, 1444 after Hijrah. The headlines. Tinubu will prioritize girl-child education, gender empowerment, says Shatima. NLC protests Tinubu's 500 billion naira subsidy palliative, demands 300% pay rise. Army rules out amnesty for bandits and terrorists. On the foreign scene, UK, Northern Amazon delivery service for weapons to Ukraine, says Defense Secretary. And in sports, West Ham frustrated by Rice delay. And those were the headlines, and for details and more of the stories, I am Rukayat Sani Ibrahim. Against the backdrop of the removal of fuel subsidy, President Bola Tinubu has urged Nigerians to be patient, promising that he will come up with palliatives to assuage the sufferings. The chairman of the class of 1999 governors, Lucky Egbenedion of Edo State, conveyed the president's message after a closed-door meeting of the class of 1999 governors in the council chamber at the Aso Villa in Abuja. Addressing State House correspondents, the former governor, who expressed the president's dream to foster a better nation, asserted that the issue of subsidy is gone forever, expressing the belief that the situation will soon normalize. The ex-governors were at the State House to identify with Tinubu, who was the governor of Lagos State from May 1999 to 2007, and to express solidarity over his recent policies since assumption of office as Nigeria's president on May 29, 2023. Among the former governors present are James Ibori of Delta State, Donald Duke of Cross River State, Oji Kalu of Abia State, Victor Atta of Akwai State, and Adamu Muazu of Bauchi State, Joshua Darie of Plateau State, Chimaroke Nnamani of Enugu State, and Ibrahim Turaki of Jigawa State, among others. Vice President Kashim Shettima yesterday assured all that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is committed to prioritizing the education of the girl child and gender empowerment. The Vice President said this when he hosted a delegation from the United Nations UN, led by the UN Deputy Secretary General UNDSG and Chair of the United Nations Sustainable Development Group. Mrs. Amina Mohammed, the Nigerian envoy, was accompanied by the co-founder of Malala Fund, Ms. Malala Yousafzai, and other officials. The Vice President hailed the UNDSG and the co-founder of Malala Fund for their efforts at promoting girl-child education, among other initiatives. In separate remarks, Mrs. Mohammed and Ms. Yousafzai praised the federal government for promoting goals 4 and 5 of the SDGs, lauding its progress in gender equity and education of girls across the country. The Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have tumbled down the 500 billion naira palliative proposed by President Bola Tinubu, stating that it is grossly inadequate to assuage the hardship confronting workers sequel to the fuel subsidy removal. They are demanding a 300% salary increase to enable workers to cope with the challenges imposed by the deteriorating economic situation that came with the removal of the controversial fuel subsidy. On Wednesday, the President wrote to the House of Representatives seeking approval for 500 billion naira to cushion the effects of petrol subsidy removal. Tinubu's request was contained in a letter sent to the National Assembly and read during plenary by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, but unimpressed by the amount contained in the President's letter. The NLC noted that the money will not be enough to cater for 125 million Nigerians who are believed to be living in poverty. The National Treasurer of the NLC, Hakim Ambali, who spoke in an interview with newsmen in Abuja, questioned the extent to which the palliative would cover. The Chief of Army Staff, Major General Taoreed Lagbaja, has dismissed amnesty pleas for bandits and terrorists. Lagbaja said the amnesty program has failed to achieve its purpose in the past, adding that it gives criminals opportunity to regroup and attack defenseless citizens. The COAS said this in Abuja when he received Zamfara Governor Dauda Lawal on a courtesy visit. Lagbaja said while the Zamfara terrain was difficult to navigate, he had directed the deployment of more platforms and release of more funds to reactivate unserviceable platforms to boost troops' operations in the state. He said the Zamfara crisis was a mix of many things such as the farmer-harder clashes, ethnic confrontations, and the quest for economic survival. The House of Representatives on Wednesday tactically walked out a member for improper dressing. The House rules prescribe a dress code for members attending plenary, with members expected to wear a suit and tie or in traditional dress with a cap to match. The member, whose name could not be ascertained, walked into plenary towards the end of the day's proceedings and sat in the second, used as an alternative chamber by the members. Raising of order, Honorable Billy Osaweru, APC Edo, drew the attention of the House to the mode of dressing, which he said contravened the dress code for members of the House. However, while Osaweru was raising the point of order, the member stood up and walked out of the chamber, with Speaker Tajuddin Abbas saying, "Point of order complied with." A pastor of Friday Alkaneji, 29, has been sentenced to 2 years imprisonment by an Akure magistrate court for breaking into a shop where he stole some chemical substance worth 130,000 naira. Okeneji, the presiding pastor of a church in Iwaro, Oka Akoko, on the state, was said to have committed the offense on July 2, 2023 at Iwaro, Oka Akoko. The convict, who pleaded guilty to the 2-count charge read to him, confessed that he committed the offense to survive. He told the court that he had means of livelihood, hence he was forced to commit the offense. The trial magistrate Dami Lola Sekoni, in her verdict, said Okeneji was convicted on a 2-count charge, adding that the prison term will run concurrently with an option of 100,000 naira fine. She enjoined the convict to turn a new leaf and live a righteous life. Henceforth, she urged the convict to imbibe the Christian attributes of hard work and be prayerful, as stated in the scriptures. The Chief of Army Staff, Major General Taoreed Lagbaja, has ordered troops to seize control of areas where the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, enforce their sit-at-home order throughout the southeast states. The order came after a Finland-based pro-Biafra agitator, Simon Ekpa, announced there will be a 2-week sit-at-home in the southeast region from July 31. According to him, the order was to demand the immediate and unconditional release of the detained IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu, as well as facilitate the freedom of Biafra nation, among others. Ekpa warned that failure to comply with the sit-at-home order would attract heavy consequences. However, speaking in an interview with newsmen, the Director of Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, declared that such an announcement was unlawful and would not be condoned. He said the troops of the 82 Division have been given an order to work with other security agencies to ensure citizens go about their business freely. The Army spokesman called on Nigerians in the southeast region, to disregard the sit-at-home order, urging them to support the security forces to defeat IPOB. Vice-Chancellor Ahmadu Bello University ABU Zaria Professor Kabiru Bala has said credible elections can lead to good governance, adding that the electoral process must be sanitized if Nigerians want a perfect, free and fair election. Bala advocated for more engagement of academics during the electioneering processes for the sustainable elections in Nigeria. He made the remark during the 3rd International Conference tagged Beyond Sustainable Elections, interrogating the challenges of leadership and governance in Nigeria. Organized by the Department of Political Science and International Studies in collaboration with Mumbai House, Aminu Kano Center for Democratic Studies held in Zaria. The Vice-Chancellor urged Nigerians to be more honest and resist vote buying and other misconduct during elections. Earlier, Head of Department Political Science and International Studies ABU, Dr. Rahanat Lawal, said getting elections right can produce worthy leaders and bring good governance. And on the foreign scene, the UK is not an Amazon delivery service for weapons to Ukraine, and Kiev might be wise to let its supporters see gratitude, Britain's Defense Secretary has said. In a blunt intervention, Ben Wallace said his counsel to the Ukrainians was to keep in mind that they need to persuade some doubting politicians in Washington and other capitals that the tens of billions of pounds they are spending on military aid to their country for its war with Russia is worthwhile. He was responding to a question from Sky News about whether the failure of allies to give President Volodymyr Zelensky a time frame from NATO membership at a major summit this week would undermine the morale of his troops on the front line. Mr. Zelensky later told Sky News that he was confused by what the Defense Secretary said, adding that we were always grateful. Meanwhile, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak pushed back against the Defense Secretary's comments, saying Mr. Zelensky has expressed his gratitude for what we have done on a number of occasions. And in sports, West Ham are becoming increasingly frustrated about the delay with the deal to sell Declan Rice to Arsenal. The £105 million deal was agreed 8 days ago, but it has not been signed yet. West Ham are still waiting to sign the contract. It was gathered that the hold-up is being caused by delays with paperwork being drawn up by Arsenal's lawyers. Arsenal are hopeful of completing the signing of Rice before the squad files to the USA for their pre-season tours on Sunday. Arsenal are also expected to confirm the signing of Shirin Timber, with the club hopeful of including the defender in their squad for their friendly away to FC Nürnberg on Thursday. Timber has completed his medical ahead of his £38 million transfer from Ajax, and the paperwork is being finalized on a long-term contract. And with the sport news, we've come to the end of our bulletin for today. You can follow us on our social media handles at Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at TUNTBE Radio FM TV, respectively. You can also watch us live on the satellite decoder Buttersat, which has been watched in about 38 countries of the world free. You can also stream us and watch us live on our YouTube channel at Unity FM TV. I am Rukayet Sani Ibrahim. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of our programs. Do have yourself a lovely day.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was seeing things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say